Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Tidalwave Afterwork, the music production podcast. My name is Patrick Damiani, this is my good friend Marc Maurer.
Hello.
And we are here to answer your questions. So let's dive in.
We have a question from Lucas Patel.
Hi Lucas.
Hey, Lucas wants to know, I heard about mid-side processing for the first time the other day and don't know how it differs from just straight up panning. Can you explain what it is? Do you use it? Thanks.
Okay, mid-side.
Do you use it?
Very seldomly, is that a word?
Seldom, yeah.
Well, panning is just to clarify what is what. Panning is you have like one signal, let's say a mono signal, you record a voice and you can place it in the center, can place it left, half left, right, using the pan knob in your program or on your mixing board. Mid-side processing means that you have a stereo signal and I don't want to get too technical now, but you can deconstruct that stereo signal into the center signal and the sides. So if you just take a very simple example, let's take a full mix, or let's say we have double track guitars and a vocal, and you say you take an EQ that is capable of working MS, mid-side separately. So you take a band and add some treble only to the mid, so it will only affect what is heard, perceived in the center. You put it to the sides, then it would only affect the signals that are on the sides, those double track guitars in that example. When I use it, I would use it, for example, let's say you have a bass synthesizer that is stereo and has a lot of low-end information that is left and right and in the center and everywhere, so it's very large and broad sound. It is commonly good practice, especially, for example, if it's going to end up on vinyl later, to have all bass information only in the center, so not so much on the sides. What I then would do is like take a low cut, set it to the sides only, and just low cut the bass away from the sides of the signal. This will then appear as all the high-end information is still everywhere, but you can really hear the bass only from the center, or the lower frequencies only from the center. That would be like a practical application of MS processing. Yeah, I think that's enough information for now. Try it out and see how it feels.
Yeah, thanks Lucas.
Thanks. I have a question from somebody that wanted to stay anonymous. Yeah. Okay. I am working as a mixer for metal bands for around 5 years now, and I think I can get really great mixes. That's cool. In theory, this is my dream job, working with music all day, but it is getting monotonous and I start feeling burned out already after 5 years, lol. You are doing this for much longer already. How do you keep motivated and inspired? Working as a mixer for metal bands.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that. I mean, okay, the point is, I think it's just good to be open and spread out a bit into like different territories and not work on the same thing all the time, because like maybe both of us are good examples of this, because I would say, speaking for myself, growing up, I'm like a metal kid. So, I mean, I had this period where I was like probably 16 and was like, screw everything that isn't metal.
and if only one part of metal, it only has to be like Swedish death metal and nothing else.
Exactly. The point is, I find it very refreshing, and it keeps me inspired to work on like just different stuff. Yes. There is beauty in metal productions, and I think it's a tough genre. If it's like very modern, very dense music, it is a tough gig. but it can be so refreshing and also challenging in a good way, which keeps you like moving and inspired and be like, oh, I want to tackle this. I want to get better to just mix like acoustic music, like singer-songwriter style stuff that has like arrangements with like little instrumentation and is not so dense, because this will challenge you in a completely different way. And I think it will inspire your choices than in the other genres again. When like working like quiet music and like more mellow music opens up like a new world when you then have the next metal production on the table and you're like, wait a minute, I like you think about stuff differently. So I would say just try to not put yourself into a corner where you're like, I'm just the metal guy. You can be just the metal guy, but just try out other things. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, it was exactly my thought. Don't be a one-trick pony, because it's like eating the same dish every day, 3 times a day, all the time for the rest of your life. It's
you can love pizza as much as you want.
But
you will
if you
still
eat it
be
all the time, then it's just too much.
Yeah, so don't eat pizza every day.
That's it. Hope that helps.
Yeah, thanks.
Bon appetit.
Okay, next question is from Paul Elbers.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul. Paul wants to know, how do you manage stems when you're doing an album production? Are stems part of the production, or do you charge extra for it? Where do you draw the line between something being still part of the gig or something being an extra task? Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Go on.
Like always, everything is a matter of communication and getting things sorted out before you even start. If it's a common thing nowadays that you get a mix gig, so somebody says, yeah, I would like to mix the thing, and then if he doesn't ask yourself, do you need stems afterwards, do you need like instrumentals or something like this, so that you know what the work is going to be. And then don't give out work for free. It's going to take you some time, even if it's only half an hour, to print extra stems, and you should charge for this. So this is not like a free extra. It just takes time, and time has to be paid. Just agree about it up front, and then there is no unclarity.
Yeah. Cool.
Hope that helps.
Thanks.
Hey, if you like our podcast and this channel, consider subscribing if you haven't yet. And also, leave a comment and ask a question so we can cover one of your questions in a future video. And last but not least, go tell a friend about it. Thanks.
Blinks 1000.
Hey.
Any tips on recording great claps? Mine always sound so fake and annoying. Thanks.
Yes. I have 2 tips.
Take a piece of paper.
That's actually one.
This was not planned, but I think I will link. We had like a paper challenge where we made music with just a sheet of paper, and he made the most exceptional claps with the sheet of paper. I will link to the video here. But that is not what you wanted to say.
Yes, it was. Actually.
It was.
One of the 2 points
Okay.
was that, because the funny thing is that this paper sounded.
It's amazing.
It's like it sounds more real than claps. And what?
I have something really funny. Give me a second. I had once we made like I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't want to forget it. We made like vegetable soup, and it sounded like an audience clapping. And it is so funny. I recorded it. Wait. Yeah, here it is. I will see if we can edit this.
Oh yeah. So you can hear. That's great. Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Sorry.
Okay, but no. Okay, I give you the other tip first, and then I give you context about the piece of paper, because that's kind of important. Because the actual tip about claps that sound like the good claps that we know and love from, like, when we hear claps in music, is you need to record many of them.
Yes.
Because the thing that makes I think the problem is we think about claps like being a clap. But what makes a clap so compelling and the way it sounds in music that we are used to from the radio is that it's actually a very like a long flam. It's like so I actually if I record claps, what I actually do is I record like 10 or 20 of them, and I even while recording try to be not so perfect. I do like for example, if you record 20 tracks of claps yourself, try to do the first 5 takes really tight on the beat, and
you
then
can still adjust it.
You can still adjust it, but if you want to have less work in editing, just try to be
sloppy.
more sloppy and lazy with each take, and you will get that natural feeling. And also think about that the most like music consumers or in an audience, people are always too early, so you want a little bit of like pre-clap. So that's my main tip, and reverb and that kind of stuff. And the thing is why the paper thing works so fine is because it has that feeling built in. Because if you
it's spread out nicely.
Yeah, it's spread out. It's not like it's like
yeah.
And if you then work a little bit with like the transient or something, or just cut it very harsh, I think that's the reason why it sounded like claps, because it has that flammy feeling. So yeah,
I have one more really, really important aspect. It's really hard to record claps if it's only one person clapping, because every clap sounds the same and it will get phasey. So you will, even if you have like the prap, if you really have to do it alone on your own, try to mimic different hands. It's like do a couple like this, a couple like that, a couple like that, a couple like that, a couple like that, whatever, different sounds.
Good point.
You need different textures, otherwise it's not going to work. So best is invite a bunch of friends and record them naturally, because it's just every hand just sounds different. And if you really have to do it alone, try different techniques, and then you can use something like formant shifting or pitch shifting, or like treating every track completely differently, just to give it a different texture. Because this is like, if you have like, imagine like a group of people clapping, it's just also like with a choir. If one person is mimicking a choir, it can work, but it's getting phasey and somewhat fake. But if like a real group of people is singing in a choir, you just have those different textures. That's one big part of good claps.
That's a good point. I would like to add to that just maybe a little bit of the psychology behind it, because I also felt like why do we feel that claps in music or choirs are so like compelling emotionally in a way? Like they are such a driving force in wanting us to dance and to move and to sing along. And I think it's just because we are social beings. And I think even without seeing, you can hear a real choir or a real clap, and you like immediately have the imagination of a group being there, which give you this comfy social feeling of you want to be part of the group, you want to be part of the thing that everybody seems to like. I think that's just a theory, but I think that's like subconsciously what draws us to it. It not sounding so like cold and lonely. It's like it sounds like a collective thing.
That's a good one.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
Hope that helps.
Thank you.
All right, last question for the day comes from Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
Hey. I'm mixing a rock album right now, and I have some trouble in working out what's going to happen with the guitar tone. I got some rough mixes from the band with amp tones that sound really good to me, but the guitar player insists that I use the DI tracks and just go for it. How would you handle a situation like this, considering that the tone from the rough mix sounds totally fine? Thanks. Yeah, I know those situations.
So did I understand correctly that that it has obviously been played with the guitar tone, but he only got sent the DIs in to mix from there.
And it's and
Never do that. Never do that. If I know that I'm getting stuff to mix, if I have the feeling that I'm going only to get the DIs, I said no. Send me the tone you played with. How am I supposed to know what? Why should I recreate everything from start? I would love to get the DI just in case.
Yeah.
But let me work with the original sound first.
Yeah.
Because the guitarist, he had something in mind while playing.
Yeah.
And if he played with the guitar, especially if it's a nice sound and on the demo, why not take this as a starting point? You can still use the DI to maybe blend in another tone if you're missing, I don't know, some mids or some lows or whatever. But take the original sound as a starting point.
Yeah. I also feel like the question sounds like I think Caleb should follow his intuition and turn it the other way around and insist to get the guitar track.
Absolutely.
Because I know the kind of feeling. And maybe even the guitar player of the band like has like good intention, because he maybe thinks like, if he's gonna do it, it's gonna be so much better. But you should be confident then and be like, no, I'm telling you, give me your guitar sound, it's fine. Let me work with it. It's gonna be good.
Especially musicians
and like take the wheel and not dictate like.
Yeah, musicians often have like a really good feeling about their own sound. So if it's a good guitar player and he will choose a sound that fits.
Yeah.
One thing I just want to add to reamping guitars, which is basically what you would do if you get a DI track. Yeah. And just feed it into an amp simulation or another real cabinet, amp and cabinet, is every amp just behaves in a different way, and you react to what you hear when you play. Let's take the simplest example is you're playing mutes, like some amps, they're just boomy or tend to have a high bass buildup, so you would intuitively move your hand more towards the neck while playing just to get a shorter sound. But if you play with an amp that is very dry and tight, you may move your hand a little bit more back to the bridge to get a little bit more sustain and low end. And if you only have the DI track, it's like a hit or miss, and you never really know what's going to happen. So
and you're gonna waste a lot of time trying to please the guitarist while he could have already just given you the guitar tone that he preferred when he recorded.
And also, if you know that you are going to reamp, use a very similar, or if not even the same, sound as you will use to reamp later to actually play the performance, for the reasons I mentioned before. Don't use something completely different and to reamp it with something else. You can have bad surprise and it just doesn't feel right, and you may not know why it doesn't feel right, but that may be an issue because the DI signal just can't react anymore to another amp.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Hope that helps.
Thanks, Caleb.
That was the last question.
That's it.
It was
for
fun.
today.
Hope you enjoyed it as well. Send in your questions, your comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe. So
All right.
that you can see us next week again.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.